Ladies and gentlemen, the day we have all been waiting for has officially arrived, the launch of Lerato. Welcome, my name is Bolele Polisa. I'm a radio presenter at the University of Johannesburg. I'm a facilitator, I'm a voiceover artist, I'm a speaker, but this morning I will be your MC for this much anticipated event. Now, we have heard and seen all your questions. Who is Lerato? Where is Lerato? Lerato kingwana mang? Well, I can assure you that your questions will be answered here today. Now, CEO and founder of Lerato, Patrick Mahlangu, is no stranger to the marketing and media space. Together with his platform, Pat on Brands, he has been at the forefront of conversations with brands. He has introduced brands to their audiences, and he has introduced us to our favorite brands. We are live streaming on all social media platforms. Please follow us at Pat on Brands and join in the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube using the hashtag #WeAllNeedLerato as well as hashtag Lerato is here. Our program will commence with Pat coming forward to tell us more about his story and why he has decided to launch Lerato. And then we will officially launch Lerato through video. And then myself and Pat will have a one-on-one conversation just to find out more about who Lerato is, why he has decided to launch Lerato, and anything else that you might want to ask. So be sure to pose your questions on social media. Remember, the hashtags are hashtag #WeAllNeedLerato as well as hashtag Lerato is here. Now, ladies and gents, without any further ado, please help me welcome the man of the hour, founder and CEO of Lerato, Patrick Mahlangu.
Good morning, South Africa. Good morning, world. What a day, what a day. You've been seeing the social media posts, the countdown, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, saying Lerato is coming, and Lerato has finally arrived. But the story of Lerato does not start today. This is a journey that started 10 years ago when I was doing my first year at the University of Johannesburg, studying IT. Because I was from a poor family, my parents and my uncle at that time couldn't afford to buy me fresh clothes, fresh laptops as an IT student, just so that I can also be like other kids at varsity. So I decided to find myself a job. I looked on the internet using the university's computer labs, and I stumbled upon a company called Innovate, Field Marketing, and applied to be one of their promoters. And luckily, I did get that job. Then, what happened afterwards is that during that interview, I was exposed to this thing called marketing and promotions, and speaking to customers and convincing them to sell, to buy your product. Long story short, my first promotion at Eastgate Mall, we're promoting LG. And I remember the brand manager of LG and the regional manager came to visit us just to check up on us to see if we're doing okay. And they were really bubbly people, very vibey. And I asked them, what is that they do exactly? And they told me about brand management and marketing, and that really sparked my interest. From that day onwards, I said to myself, actually, this is what I want to do. What happened is that now I was stuck with IT, and I didn't know pretty much how I'll end up in marketing. But a decision, after a couple of consultations and with my mentor, Bilal, who's still the owner of Innovate, first and foremost, I just want to give him a shout out, because if it wasn't for him and believing in me, I don't think I would be here. We would be here right now launching Lerato. A big shout out to Bilal Esop, CEO and founder of Innovate. So he said, look, maybe you should change your course to marketing. But now remember, I'm on NEFSAS, right? I only have 4 years to finish my degree. Otherwise, I'll lose my funding. Then I did my research and stumbled upon a course called Information Management. And what ended up happening is that I applied for it and I got accepted and got lots of credits because some of the modules between information management and IT management were quite similar. Then I added marketing as a major. I did that. Then I graduated in 2014 for my first degree and immediately enrolled for an honors degree. And that's when now the fire and the passion really grew for marketing. I started watching programs like Mags on Media, which then inspired me to start what is now known as Pat on Brands. So throughout my varsity life, really, I think there's three things that stood out about Pat as a young man or as a young black man. One, I think I learned a lot about leadership. I demonstrated leadership. I've led, actually, the brand Pat Mahlangu became strong when I decided to run for SRC as an independent candidate at the University of Johannesburg's APK campus, a campus with over 25,000 students. There I was taking a stand and say, I am running to be in the SRC. I think that was really a bold move. And for me, now that in retrospect, it really shows that I really challenge the status quo because other people tend to hide behind political parties. I mean, other students were part of SASCO, were part of ANC Youth League. Here I was, not known. Actually, I wasn't even an off-campus student. I wasn't even that popular on campus, and I took a stand to run for SRC. Leadership, then I ended up being the chairperson of what is now known as Thomas Sankara. I was the first chairperson of Thomas Sankara, formerly known as a student town. Another one was entrepreneurship. If you have nothing, the only option you have is to hustle. So I learned to hustle at an early age. I mean, me finding my first job in my first year, at some point I had about 3 jobs. I worked as a student assistant, I was doing promotions on the weekend, I was a lab assistant at the Department of Zoology at UJ by night. So I was working throughout and I was really grafting. And so that's entrepreneurship and that's leadership, and lastly, that's academic. I think I also demonstrated good academic prowess when it comes to my books and my studies because it didn't stop at my honors. I studied all the way through to my master's. And of course, I wouldn't have achieved this by myself. There's people that I came across along the journey that really inspired me to do better and to be better and motivated me and gave me opportunities to be where I am today. So fast forward, it's 2020. This is where I'm at, launching Lerato. Launching Lerato at a time where nothing really looks pretty. If you watch the news, you will see that actually we are in tatters. The whole world is in tatters. Coronavirus as a pandemic has really, really challenged the world and challenged us to think differently. Not only it has an impact on our health, but also the economy at large. Pretty much, this is not the best time theoretically to be starting a new thing because the future is not known. So this is where we find ourselves in 2020. And again, I mean, the South African economy has always been ailing. That's a well-known fact. Unemployment is at its all-time peak. Marketing budgets are shrinking. So the picture is not pretty. But here I am, taking a stand and say, look, the world in a time of a calamity, there is an opportunity, but most importantly, the world needs Lerato. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to Lerato.
3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Lerato has officially arrived. We've noticed a couple of your responses and excitement on social media. We're now about to enter into the second part of the launch, where I will be having a conversation with the main man himself, Thokozani Patrick Mahlangu, where he will be telling us more about Lerato. We see how everyone is in love with the 5 love languages of Lerato, so I'll make it known to him that you do, and he will answer your questions as well. Firstly, congratulations, Pat, on a successful launch.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being a great MC / host.
It's my pleasure.
You've been phenomenal.
Thank you. So let's talk about Lerato. You've decided to launch Lerato amidst so much confusion, you know?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the route that you decided to take. People have seen this video. They now understand what Lerato is about.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to launch a company like Lerato?
I mean, Lerato has been a long time coming, you know, since I left my previous job.
Yeah.
So I always had a plan that I want to be running an agency, you know, and what the lockdown did, or what this pandemic sort of did, was I started receiving a lot of calls, people asking me what should they do with their brands, what kind of messaging should they be putting out at this time. You know, I did some interviews with some media houses, and people were really sort of interested and needed clarity, you know, in terms of what to do. But then again, because I run a media platform as well, which is Pattern Brands, and it's kind of also confusing for other people that do not know me personally when they go to the website and find out more information about what I can do for them, what we can do for them in terms of solving their problems. Then Lerato came, you know, and the name I was battling. I had a debate with myself in terms of what do I call this thing, this agency, you know. Obviously, one is always drawn to an English name, you know, and wanted to make it vibey or trendy. But then again, this one time actually, I was at my sister's place and we were having lunch, and I was like, nah, man, this agency must be called Lerato.
Nice.
And from there onwards, we started brainstorming ideas on how we're going to how we're going to position it. And it all boils down to, because ultimately, every brand, what they need is love.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A brand, just like a human being, needs love. And we're like, Lerato is the name, and we are going to craft brands that people love.
And we love Lerato.
Thank you.
You've briefly spoken about positioning, you know, and in the media and marketing space,
Yeah.
there's so much that is changing. It's now become a vast changing environment, especially because of technology.
Yeah.
How is now Lerato going to position itself in that space?
So Lerato is pretty much a digital first agency. So we have strong capabilities when it comes to digital marketing,
Yeah.
when it comes to digital design, web development. I mean, the Chief Creative Officer, Frank, He's actually a specialist in UX design. So we're going to be doing some really amazing work for our clients. I mean, if you look at our website on its own, it's a case study. It's pure work of art, or work of love, should I say, now that we're launching Lerato. So it's an amazing, amazing website, and I want everyone that's watching this video right now to go on their web browser and type lerato.agency, and you'll see that this is really works of art. So that's the type of work that we'll be putting out to our clients. Some of our clients that we've done websites for, like the likes of SA Jewelry Week. If you go onto their website also, you see that our design capabilities are really strong. And I myself also, as an internationally certified digital marketer, I have a strong, not only theoretical background when it comes to digital marketing, and also my master's, actually, I did it in social media marketing and how it can be used to support marketing decisions in the retail sector. So I've got a strong sort of theoretical background, but then again, I've worked as marketing coordinator at the University of Johannesburg, where I transformed the digital landscape. I also worked at an agency where we serviced some big global clients, and we do have the experiences. I mean, Frank, we worked on some amazing brands locally and internationally. So the team is strong as well. The team is strong, and we have the experience, we have the education. All we need is just opportunity.
So that shows you that you can trust Lerato. Why have you decided to launch amidst a pandemic? People are losing their jobs. We've just heard of organizations like Media 24 closing shop, and many other agencies and organizations. Why then decide to launch when all of this is happening around us?
I think it's Einstein who once said that in the midst of catastrophe, there's opportunity.
Absolutely.
I think that's where I find myself, that look, whilst everyone is looking at the dark side of this era that we're in right now, actually there's a silver lining, and that silver lining is really an opportunity for a new entrant in the market that would really transform the industry and provide opportunities for other people. Yes, Media 24 announced that some of their print publications would be discontinued. Other agencies, like there's one agency that I really love their work, they're really doing well, I admire them, called And People. As the pandemic started, they also announced that they're closing shop. And I thought to myself, but then again, marketing budgets are shrinking. So that presents an opportunity for marketers to try out new small agencies to actually establish relationships with. And another thing is that most SMMEs, again, they can't go to big agencies because they can't afford. Actually, big agencies won't even entertain them, and agencies are seen as this far-fetched dream for SMMEs. But if you come to an establishment like Lerato, where we can really sit down with you and really sort of package solutions that will make your brand lovable or make your brand get the Lerato that it needs in the market. So an opportunity that presented itself is that, yes, one, marketing budgets are shrinking. That means marketers have little, but they have so much to do. Therefore, what's the biggest cost? Big agencies are expensive, and sometimes, more often than not, the small agency can produce same quality, if not better quality work than a big agency for half the price. And that's where the opportunity is for us.
I love that. So then let's talk about agency. A lot of corporates are always at loggerheads with each other with regards to doing their marketing in-house or outsourcing via agency. Why would you advise organizations and corporates to go the agency route?
I mean, there's many capabilities that agencies bring that a normal corporate wouldn't have. And a big one being creativity. Sometimes when you are working on a brand and you are so attached, and sometimes there's this high level of biasness that you have towards your brands, and you become sort of naive and oblivious to what's really happening in the market. And that's why some of the campaigns that we normally see outside, that brands come up with, one can't help but ask, who actually
is the market, the target audience?
The market, the target audience, but then who comes up with such work? And sometimes it's when sometimes the brand owner is so attached and they don't want to let go. And they come up with shoddy work that the market criticizes. Then they always have to issue a press statement saying, we were not intending to, or we apologize. And so an agency brings in that capability that a corporate wouldn't have. And I think also a big one is the cost element as well. So having to hire, maybe say for example, an ECD within the corporate, you know, an executive creative director, having a strategist, it's costly. And all of them, for example, say you are a big bank and you have to have these people. You pay them a lot of money, they have to get benefits, they have to get medical aid, and all of those things do add up. So when you hire an agency, you agree on a service level agreement, the term of the contract, when it expires, everyone gets paid, you know. But then if you have an employee, right now, most corporates, I'm pretty sure they're thinking about how do we get rid of our staff, but they can't because they have to pay them out. So the benefit of having an agency is that you don't have to worry about that stress of actually having to pay people benefits, and when it comes to actually getting rid of them, also it becomes a challenge. So cost element, and I think that creative capability that a normal corporate wouldn't have.
Fantastic. So then why does everyone need Lerato?
I mean,
Hashtag we all need Lerato.
we all need Lerato. I
Yeah.
mean, Lerato is life. You know, I think it's Nelson Mandela once said that no one is born with hate, but
love.
But everyone is born with love. And I think now more than ever, you know, in the time that we find ourselves in, that is the global pandemic, that is the lockdown, you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of negativity that's also going around, and this is the time where actually we should be spreading Lerato. So everyone needs Lerato, you know, for a brand to grow and flourish, you know. People need to love it. People need to buy it. People need to back it up with their hard-earned cash, you know, to say we support this brand, we love this brand. Even though it costs 10K and their competitors are charging 5K, but because of that brand, we can resonate with it and we love it. We are willing to back it up. So that's where we are right now. And I think I'm a strong believer that in any business, the brand always wins.
100%.
It's the brand. The reason why you buy Nike versus Puma versus Adidas is because of the brand. If you think about it, a shoe is a shoe is a shoe. If you think about it. But there's a difference between the Nike brand, what it stands for, and what makes it lovable.
I love that. So this is an agency finding itself in the media and marketing space. What are your hopes for the industry that you're finding yourself in?
Look, the hopes for the industry that I'm finding myself in, actually, I've had these hopes since 2014.
Yeah.
I remember in 2014, I was watching an episode of Mags on Media, and actually it was a debate, you know, around the transformation of this industry. I remember, I think Odette van der Haar, who was the CEO of ACA, and there's a gentleman called Muzi Kuzwayo. You know, Muzi Kuzwayo is one of the legends in the marketing space. And they were talking about how the industry needs to transform. And obviously, like any other discussion, some would say, but we're doing okay. But some would say, okay, there's not enough talent of black people, you know, so we need to train them first. You know, some would say, but yeah, how are we going to attract talent when you're paying people peanuts, and. But then again, before that whole discussion started, Muzi stood up and he was like, I'm actually sick and tired of talking. He literally left the stage. If you have time, actually go on YouTube and type Mags on Media 2014 transformation debate. You know, like, I'm sick and tired of talking. All that we do every time when we meet is how we're going to transform the industry, yet nothing is happening. Yeah. So that's my hope, transformation. I mean, 6 years later, transformation is still at the top of the agenda. Black people are still fighting for their place at the table. You know, black people are still underpaid compared to their white counterparts. Black people need to fit in an agency. With the experience that I have in agencies, that closeness to whiteness is what will get you further within an agency. When you start speaking like that, I'm like, yo, you know, that's when they're like, oh, this is one of, you're not like them. You're not like our pet, you're like, you're speaking, you know what I mean? And it's small things like that, like those, that really makes the fundamental difference, you know? So my big hope is that my kids or grandkids, when they come, they won't have to fight for their place at the table, or won't have to fit in an agency try to be white. You know, if his name is Katleho, he mustn't be Cat. You know, just so that he can fit in.
Even Katleho straight.
Even Katleho, you know, because, you know, I was actually listening to 702 the other day. A lady called in, they're speaking about transformation in private schools, you know. And this lady, it was at the peak, I mean, when Black Lives Matter was at its peak. And this lady calls in and is like, you know what really hurts me the most is that my teacher in high school, throughout from grade 8 to grade 12, never bothered to pronounce my name correctly. One would say, like, a name is a name is a name, but your name is your identity. So if you butcher your name, you're butchering
identity,
someone's
who
identity.
I am.
You know what I mean? So that's what I think the transformation agenda is bigger than just fitting in or getting opportunities or balancing BEE and no, it's one's identity. It's speaking to the soul. So that's where it is. My biggest hope for the industry is that it's transformed. Hopefully Lerato also will do its bit to give opportunities to fellow Black South Africans and really transform the marketing and advertising landscape.
We're counting on you to do that. The
pressure is on.
But let's talk about the 5 love languages of Lerato, your services. Tell us more about that.
So the 5 love languages of Lerato, it also stems on the 5 love languages.
Yes,
you know,
love.
Like
That exists in love. Yeah.
Of the love, and it's really about how you connect with clients.
Okay.
How you connect with your client. Like each client has different requirements and specific needs that they need to fulfill, and we can either do that, whether it's a digital marketing language that you need, so that you can also, you know, public relations, content creation, experiential marketing. So, yeah, like I said, digital marketing. So that's where we are in terms of the 5 love languages. It's our services, and each one is really insight and passion driven.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's how we'll be delivering the works that Lerato produces.
I love that. So we all know that Lerato means love, but outside of love, what is Lerato's core principle?
The core principle is really, or core purpose, I'd say, not principle, but purpose.
Yeah.
Our purpose is to love, I mean, it's to craft brands that people love.
Yeah.
That's really our purpose.
I love that.
You know, every work, like you say, that's going to leave Lerato's agency, it'll be works of love that our clients, because we believe that, look, for people to love a specific brand, it is actually the reflection of those that are working tirelessly behind the scenes.
100%.
So if the work that we're going to produce doesn't get the love we think it deserves, then that reflects on us. You know what I mean? So ours is to craft brands that people love. That's
I love that. Absolutely love that. So for people that want your services, that need your services, that want to associate with Lerato, how can they get in touch with you?
So first, I think the first point of contact, just visit our website, lerato.agency. There's no .com or moving with the times.
Nice.
It's lerato.agency.
Yeah.
And really check out our website, check out the information. But I think the quickest one again would be to email us at hello@lerato.agency. And again, our social media pages as of today, they'll be live. You'll start seeing what you're really about. On Instagram, it's Lerato.agency. On Twitter, it's Lerato_agency. On Facebook, it's Lerato.agency. So really, those are the different touch points that a potential client could reach out. Otherwise, you can follow my personal pages.
Yes, self-promotion.
Pet_ Mahlangu
Yeah.
on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Absolutely love that. Once again, congratulations on a successful launch. We look forward to people flocking to the doors of Lerato Agency, and we're proud, man, to have an agency that is black-owned, that is going to be at the forefront of brands that we love. I think is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Awesome stuff.
Thank you.
That was...
You've been phenomenal. And also, just want to say a big shout out to Acoustic Star for providing all the setup in terms of technical. They really did a stunning job. And if you guys also are in need of such services, here's another black youth-owned company that I think you should reach out to. A big shout out, or should I say, a big pat on Acoustic Star events.
Yes. You heard it from the man himself, CEO and founder of Pat on Brands, and now Lerato has spoken about what Lerato's about. Make sure that you associate yourself with Lerato so that we can have the brands we love under the house of Lerato. Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you at the next launch. Ciao.